Now back to Fitness Fanatics on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back to the Fitness Fanatics. All right, so we are starting a series today. Over the next 10 weeks. We have a different subject that goes right along with our 10-week challenge. So last week, we were asking you guys, listeners, even if you're not doing ferals, to do something for 10 weeks with us. Like, we want to be in better shape physically, mentally, when we walk into Memorial Stadium for Michigan than we are right now. Okay, so that's kind of the goal. So week 1 at our gym, our theme of the week is goals. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But
which we've talked about many times. But
yeah, but we need to hear things over and 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 over, because why? We forget everything we heard. 80% of what we heard, we forget. So we need to be reminded.
Yep.
All the time.
I agree. Yes.
But before we get into like actual goal setting and stuff like that, we're going to talk a little bit about motivation first. Right, Nicole?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 types of motivation that we're going to talk about. So it's important to learn, one, how you're motivated, right? So you can take, know a little bit more about this.
I feel like, why are you taking the lead?
I'm done.
Not just 2 hours ago, you said you had no idea what the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation.
So I'm ready to learn.
That's why I was like, this is interesting. You're taking the lead, like you're a scholar.
I was just kind of getting the ball rolling, turning it over to you. So that's what we're going to talk about for this segment here.
Because fun fact, so we already recorded week 2. So we didn't talk about that really, did we, in the first segment?
No. So obviously we won't be here next week because we're going to be at the road race. But so we came in at 7 a.m. this morning and we recorded next week's segment. So it was kind of like I was on Back to the Future a little bit. Like I was recording something.
It is tricky.
That hasn't really happened yet.
So instead of acting like it didn't happen, we want to acknowledge that it did. So
I feel like if we would have recorded after this show,
100%, that would have been.
It may have been a little bit easier because we've already talked about goals. So now it's like, we're talking about something that hasn't happened.
You guys just
before it happened. We are.
Yeah.
So you would rather not.
No, I'd rather not be up here till 1.
Yeah.
Which
is why I felt like, wow, you're really taking control, because spoiler alert, when you listen to next week's show, he's going to say, I don't even know what any of that is. So then we talked about it. And so you do know more now than you did 2 hours ago.
Well, let's get into them. Yeah. 2 types of motivation.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So there's 2. It's intrinsic. They're tricky words to say for me. Intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. And it's important to know which kind of category you fit into, because that will inform your goal setting. If you are intrinsically motivated, then you've picked goals for someone who is extrinsically motivated, then you're likely to not meet that goal, because it's not going to be something that is going to push you. So the difference is, like internal versus external is where that comes from. You have internal motivation to do something, or you need external motivation to do something. So
intrinsic is internal motivation.
Right. Yes. Like motivation within. You and I, historically, over 27 years of marriage,
and 29 years being together,
we do everything differently. Like, we are the opposite in almost everything that we do. Like, right.
Well, you know what Paula Abdul says.
No, I know. I'm not.
Opposites attract.
It's just funny. Like, even little things, like, if we're writing something on a piece of paper, I'm going to write it on the bottom right corner. You're going to write it on the bottom left corner. Like, just like I know. Just like,
right at the top of the paper. You guys are both weird.
Well, it's for something specific.
There's room at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like on our
It's
like on our testing sheets, like we're writing the macros for the members.
Yeah.
So it's like,
just like
I write them on the left, she writes them on the right. So it's just kind of weird. Just stuff like that.
Or we both have different ways that we go to and come from the gym. Like, we drive different routes to different places. We're just very different. So
what is that about, like, married couples?
I don't know.
My parents will do that too.
Yeah.
Take different roads. They disagree.
You still
even though it's like we're talking about 10-second difference at the most, and that totally depends every day.
I still think
Does.
because you still part of you wants to be your kind of your individual person, right? So you
Maybe.
still want to do what you want
That's true.
individually versus, well, I'm just going to go the way Nicole wants me to go.
No,
No,
that's true.
I'm going to go
Yeah.
the way I want to go
Yeah.
because I know when I get home, it's not going that way. So
Yeah.
when I'm on the road, I'm driving
Okay.
right, left, right, roundabouts, and I'm there.
Shout out to my dad back home. He takes gravel purely, and then when the wife's in the car, then obviously you
Highway.
can't get all the
Straight
dust.
to the
Yeah.
highway. That's so true. My dad was the same way. But so just following that trend,
Yeah.
I am intrinsically motivated. You are extrinsically motivated. That's why I was terrible at group sports. That's why you desperately wanted to be involved in group sports in high school
Mhm.
because you're extrinsically motivated. Harrison, what do you think you are?
Intrinsically, it's just you got
The motivation comes from within, like you find it rewarding to do something personally.
I'd say probably intrinsically.
Yeah, versus external, like you want to do something to like get a reward or avoid a punishment. Like you do things.
I'd say it's intrinsically.
Yeah.
Because even working out, I wouldn't do it for like a 6-pack. I'd do it because I want to live long.
Right.
I don't really care about anything else than that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Well, I think
intrinsically.
like for
So it's
me,
important to know that.
being the extrinsic, it's like I use an example of like doing or training for a run, right? I've ran a 20-mile training run, and you get done, and you're just, well, you're done.
Yeah.
You're just, where's
That's
my
why-
high fiving? There's no high fives.
Yeah.
There's no, great
Unless
job.
you run with a group, which would be a good plan for someone who is extrinsically motivated.
Right.
Run with a group.
Mhm.
Your more successful training runs are when you met someone at
So
a certain time.
the people that are like that are gym rats and can go to Planet Fitness and just they know they're gonna lift and they this
Kind
and that.
of.
The
Those
Adam
are
characters,
like
Ron Browns.
yeah, like
you don't
Adam
get to
character.
that age without having it just built in you.
Yeah,
That's
he's doing it for himself
right.
versus like
internally.
right,
Or,
internally.
Another thing that like for me, my intrinsic motivation is like I enjoy cooking. Like I like cooking, so I like cooking healthy meals. To me, like cooking a healthy meal is like a reward in itself. You don't really feel that way. You're just like, I'm not going to feel gratification from cooking this healthy meal. I just want to eat the meal.
It seems
fine.
like I need to figure out how to be more intrinsic.
Intrinsic.
I need
You
to
do
figure out
not.
how to get that with cooking.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
one even if I cook it, I don't care. I
Yeah.
just
have
wanna
a lot
eat.
of dishes. I'm like,
I
like
know.
pepper jacks feels way more rewarding. But,
Right. Yes.
it costs more money and
Yep.
it's not like you're gonna get fat off pepper jacks, but if you went home and made Brussels sprouts, rice, and chicken, that's still much better for
Or
you.
just made got the quick steak and made it yourself at home. You can make that at home, but it'd probably be healthier. You have
It
a lot more
definitely
control.
would be.
Yeah, over what you're eating. But so like knowing those two things are really important. And I think sometimes the biggest part about people who start our program that you can tell right away who are intrinsically or more importantly, extrinsically motivated. People who are extrinsically motivated are starting the program thinking, maybe I could win $1,000. When I started Farrell's, I didn't want to win $1,000. Like that to me, like it was not, because I knew when you win, we publish your before and after picture.
Mhm.
To me, that was not going to be worth $1,000.
Oh, it would have been for me if
See?
you would have got that.
Right.
If you would have won, I'll take it.
I know. Yes.
I wanted to win my 10 weeks. I
Right.
tried.
I didn't do what I did in the 10 weeks to try to win $1,000. That means that I'm more intrinsically motivated.
Right.
But if you sign up for any type of program with a prize at the end, and that's what's keeping you motivated, you're probably extrinsically motivated. There's not anything wrong with either one. You just need to know which one you are. Like meal prepping is not going to be something that's satisfying to you necessarily. But luckily you're married to somebody that can do that a little bit more.
Mhm.
I don't like to meal prep my full meals. Like I couldn't just be like, here's my container of my whole meal, but I like to meal prep ingredients. So then throughout the week I can just grab and put together what I want.
Oh, that's a better
And
way
I
to
do
do
that.
it.
Yeah, for me, but that's just more stubborn because that's like by the time I get to Wednesday, maybe I don't want to eat what I made on Sunday. So, but if I have like ground chicken is one of the things we had or ground turkey last week. I've been making like little egg rounds to have breakfast sandwiches. That's been really good, but that's definitely something more of a
Good to go about it though, because a lot of people they do the meal prep, and then after 2 weeks, you're like, I'm so sick of this.
yeah.
And then they, go get
Right.
fast food for a change up. And then once you do it once, it's easy to do it twice.
I know.
So-
You're right back into
It
it.
is because in your brains, that's all you can think about. What
Yep.
am I going to eat next?
I know. So that's just something we'll kind of go to break here in a second, but like while we're at break, just try to think about like what are you more intrinsically? Are you motivated from within? Do you, exercise? Do you do something because it's personally rewarding? Do you exercise because you like the way that it makes you feel? Do you, like cooking, like I said, because you like having that skill?
And I think you can have a little bit of both.
Oh,
right?
yeah, 100%.
Because I do
I
like,
still like the group fitness aspect.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's the same thing with extrinsically motivating. Are you doing something to earn a reward, or are you doing it to avoid a punishment, which is probably not, I mean, that can be a little dangerous sometimes, but are you wanting to win the 10-week challenge
I
or
think
a
like
contest?
I mean, when you're not in a contest, you need to have I don't like really saying those words, but the intrinsic. I know there. It You
is
kind of
hard
have
to
to
say.
be that because like I feel good like when I'm eating healthy. I like the way I feel personally.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it for, I'm not doing it for any reason really. I just
Right.
want to feel better and
Mhm.
that type of thing. So I think like I'm kind of both.
I think over time you probably get the intrinsic because you just start to feel.
I think
That's
you
true.
have to get that way.
And it maybe starts off like an
that's true.
external, and then because you have to set a goal just to get started, and then maybe you
Right.
kind of fall in love with it eventually, and then you just start doing it for you.
Yeah,
like
I
it.
think that the extrinsically motivated people, it is more powerful short term. Like you definitely have a better jump start. It's like,
which is like the 10-week challenge.
yes, yeah. So that's why, people who are extrinsically motivated probably are probably better at sticking to the 10-week challenge and finishing it versus the intrinsically motivated. Because as that 10 weeks gets closer and you're like, yeah, but I don't really care about winning. So then if you haven't built the habits to make it, consistent, then it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter which one, but it's because we're still talking about motivation, internal motivation, external motivation. It's what gets you started. It's not what's going to help you finish. But knowing which one you are does help a lot, because if you're trying to tell yourself, oh, I'm going to try to win $1,000, but that's not important to you, then it's not really a very good goal to have. So,
Yep.
So we'll talk about that more. But as we are going to break, maybe think about that. Like, what are you more of a intrinsically or extrinsically?
I just say in and X, right? If you're
internal or external motivated.
Internal, external. That's a little bit easier.
It's hard when you try to say both of them together. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but there are ways, and that's what we'll talk about here. Not probably the next segment, but in the next hour is like how you can set goals that include both types. Because like you both said, I think we're all a little bit of both.
Yeah, I think the external is almost better for the 10-week challenge because I think you'll be a little bit more focused because you have an ending point, where internal is after the 10 weeks, right? Your reasons change, your why you're there changes because now you don't have that.
You can be more fluid with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we see in our gym like how much more motivated our members when we're doing a fit challenge.
It's competition.
When there's prizes.
Real fast to the extrinsically motivated and intrinsically when a fit challenge comes up. The people who sign up for every single challenge, they're probably pretty extrinsically motivated.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we see that all the time.
Yeah.
But we're going to throw it to break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics. All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We just got a quick segment here. We just want to kind of just wrap up how right before we left out on the last break, we're talking about how we're a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things we do at Farrell's is on our attendance cards is if you make it all 6 days, you get a sticker.
Well,
on
first
your
of all,
card.
our 10-week card, the attendance card that we use, because we we're kind of old school with that. I know most gyms, a lot of Farrell's locations even
Almost
have,
all of them.
right, have like an app or a digital sign in, but we just really like that, that external like attendance card, a physical attendance card. So we still do that. It's old school for sure. But
I like
when
that, though.
a lot of people like it. So when you start the 10 weeks, you get a 10-week attendance card, and it has week 1, 6 spots, for each week. And each day that you come, we put a little stamp on there. So you get that little visual motivation. And then if you come all 6 weeks, you get 6 days, you get a sticker at the end of your attendance card. And then every week those stickers pile up. And so I think that is definitely an extrinsic reward, an external reward. But I think that's something that can be very gratifying to someone who is intrinsically motivated too.
Right.
Like for myself, like I wouldn't, if you have a coach that is constantly talking about do this so you can win $1,000, do this to win $1,000, which most of our coaches don't. But if you do, and that's what's important to them, and they think that that's important to you, and they keep saying that, that's not going to resonate with you. So, but like, I think the attendance card's a good example. And a way that you can do that if you're not doing Farrell's is, make yourself get a calendar and mark on the days that you are planning to do your workouts. You don't have to work out 6 days a week. We do 6 days a week at Farrell's because it's extremely balanced. Kickboxing, strength training, kickboxing, strength training, kickboxing, strength training. Like, it's a balanced workout. We don't recommend that people work out 6 days a week running every single day, or even lifting 6 days a week. Like, there needs to be a balance for sure.
Right.
We build that into our program. But if your goal is to work out 3 days a week, get yourself a little calendar, put little X's on the days that you plan on working out. And then the days that you do work out, put a little sticker on that X. And then you're going to see, that's going to help build up your confidence, build up that excitement, if that's something that motivates you. And I know it sounds silly, but it's motivating. Like, we have fit members. We put stickers on the fit members cards. And man, we have some that are just like, they keep their card once it's all filled up because they're really proud of how many stickers they earned throughout the whole year.
I tell people with addictions to do that.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, it works for a lot of things. You
it does.
Mark down, and once you see, 3 in a row, it gets motivation, that 4th one, 5th one.
Yeah.
Then when you look at 2 weeks in a row, you're physically looking at it. So if you back off now, you feel terrible because you're going to look at that one empty spot and it's going to drive you crazy.
Yep. And that's where, like, next week when we talk about discipline, if you miss that day, being disciplined to get right back on track and just like forget about what happened in the past and just keep going. But you can still be proud of yourself. You can still look back and be like, ooh, yeah, week 3 was a rough week. I remember that. We have somebody that I know that's doing the challenge right now that has like a big rollout at their job on Monday. And so like something happens in your week is all messed up, but you can look back and be like, oh yeah, that was that really tough week, but I'm really proud of myself for getting right back on track week 4 and continuing, because a lot of times people don't do that. Like, we're not, looking back on why something failed and what we can do to improve it. We're just like dumping on ourselves for like failing. So that's one way that you can kind of be both. And like, I'm more of an introvert. You're an extrovert. That's for sure. Like, you love talking to people. I don't not love talking to people, but I saw a meme the other day because I find myself doing this a lot, even with like friends of mine that are at the gym, but anybody at the gym. Like, I feel like I'm constantly multitasking. And I saw a meme that said, like, you can either get eye contact from me or my undivided attention, not both. Because like me making eye contact with you, I'm constantly thinking like, is this weird? Am I making too much eye contact? And then I forget what I'm talking about. So it's easier for me to be like looking at a screen and doing something else and being like, I'm totally listening and I'm in part of the conversation, but someone could look at that and be like, she's not even listening. I'm like, you can either have my undivided attention or my eye contact. You literally can't have both.
Yeah.
That's probably something that's never crossed your mind when you're talking to someone, right, Jeff? Right.
We did have a text from Hizzlebear, who just did the 10-week challenge last time, and he said he was bummed he didn't get all 10 stickers, but he liked having a chart that said I was there. Well, you should have planned your family vacation for or your family reunion for after the 10-week challenge.
Which is the only reason he didn't get all the stickers, because he finished early.
Yeah, he didn't just like
Right.
just not show up because he was just I'm just gonna lay at home in my underwear and watch Netflix and not go to the gym.
Sleep in.
Yeah.
No, he finished his challenge. He just had to finish it before the 10 weeks was over.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to break. Hour number 2 coming at you. Stay with us. 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics. All right, welcome back. Hour number 2. We are talking about goals here on this episode. Hour 2 is sponsored by Modern Woodmen of America, founded in 1883. Modern Woodmen offers financial services and member benefits to individuals and families throughout the U.S. For more information, call Sean Erickson at 402-483-6515. Modern Woodmen of America, touching lives, securing futures. Big thanks to them. Everything they do for our show, we appreciate them. Also, they take care of our life insurance. So if I go kick the bucket in the next 2 hours,
stop saying that.
You'll be well taken care of.
I don't like it when you say that.
Well, I know I don't like talking about that stuff either, but
yeah, here we are.
Unfortunately,
die on a Monday by Hyundai.
What?
That was the song lyric. I don't know where that came from. Someone sang it. You could die on a Monday by a Hyundai. And it happened at any moment. Yeah.
I mean, you can, I guess.
That's funny. I've never heard that, but maybe it's a song I've never really listened fully to the lyrics to or something.
I don't know where I'm pulling that from. It's not original. But anyways.
If listeners, if you know, just text in. It'd be interesting. Is it like a real song or is it like
song.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But anyway, moving on, talking about goals again. So like we talked about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, but at the end of the day, like goal setting is just like intrinsic and extrinsic is what gets you started. So you know that like, you know, if you're extrinsically motivated, signing up for like a marathon might be a good motivator for you because you're going to have that. Oh, like, you know, see, I consider myself to be internally motivated, intrinsic, but I have definitely signed up for races before because I really liked the medal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that is
the shirt that you get.
The medal or the shirt, you know, so that is why that would be a good motivator for someone who's extrinsically motivated. Like find a race that you really like the medal for, or you really like the shirt for. I'm wearing one of our Run to Overcome shirts, and I love this shirt because it matches my pants that I'm wearing perfectly. And so I wear that. I don't wear a lot of race shirts, but this is one that I wear a lot. So that's not someone that could be like extrinsically motivated. But if you're intrinsically, maybe you're wanting to improve your blood pressure, get off of your medication, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like you still have to do the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, you don't really want to necessarily like tailor a whole. I feel like we've unlocked some horror version of fitness where now there's going to be start marketing for like intrinsic exercisers and extrinsic, you know what I mean? Like it's going to become a trend.
Nobody
now.
Can pronounce those words, so they probably won't.
They're not hard to pronounce. They're hard to pronounce.
Say external, internal.
That's what I'm saying.
They're hard to pronounce.
That's basically what
back
they are.
To back, for sure. But anyway, so like that's where you still have to do the work, right? You still have to create goals, but just know that if you are externally motivated, that you're probably not going to get the same satisfaction out of things that internally motivated people. Does that make you feel better about it?
Yes, internally. So what kind of goal, I mean, what type of goals should people be setting?
Well, I think one of the things, did we talk about habit stacking last week, or were we going to and then we didn't?
No, we did.
Okay.
No, we did not.
Okay. That's what I thought. Because you guys overtook the whole first hour last week. So we didn't talk about it.
It was the listeners that overtook the first hour, and we are.
Wasn't us. We'll blame the.
We are. We are a show of the listeners, and we give them what they want.
402-464-5255. All right.
Text the show.
See if you can get us off track. But no, so like sometimes when you're setting goals, if you're gonna put a new goal with something that you already do, that's gonna help a lot. So you know, you kind of think about that where like the one good thing is like you have to cook meals anyway. So when you're cooking one meal, make double, and then now you've automatically created a second meal for yourself. So that's one way. It's not really setting a goal, but it's a way to habit stack to make your goals more attainable. So maybe you want to meal prep, but you just don't have maybe that time to meal prep. But then you can make a stir fry for dinner, and you can make twice as much and then either refrigerate or freeze the second half. And then you've automatically made an extra meal for yourself. That's going to make hitting your goals easier because you've done that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or, having a workout buddy that you can text. When I did my 10 weeks a long time ago, I had a friend, Janet, that we would text each other every morning when we got up just to make sure the other person was up and the other person was going to be there. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it's just expecting what your impulse is going to be.
Yeah.
Because everyone's a little bit different. And for you, it's like, if I wake up and I have no accountability, my impulse is going to be like, maybe go to bed back on this one.
Yeah. And that's another thing too, when you're setting goals, is like, it's important to know, maybe set a goal around changing a behavior that that has been a pitfall for yourself in the past. I think that's kind of.
If you have a plan for it, your chances are much better.
Yeah. Like right now, for me now, 18 years later in the program, I don't need someone to text me to tell me to get up and go to the gym. But I might need someone to text me. Like I might need someone that I can send, a picture to of being like, this is my lunch that I prepped. I'm staying on track, just to kind of have that accountability with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a good one. Like find someone that you can align your goals with and then keep each other accountable for those goals. Right.
But even for the sodas, like I tell all the time, Mountain Dews, like I just start packing like water. Just it's the water bottle, literally. That's it. Just so I have something to drink.
Yeah.
Before I'm heading to work, because if I don't have like something to drink on my way to car, as soon as I get thirsty, it's like, well, I'll stop at a gas station, get a water, and it's like, well, I'm at the gas station, I might as well get a Mountain Dew, and it's just know what you're really bad at. For me, it was soda.
Yeah. And that's a lot of that with things like that, bad habits. It becomes a conditioned response more than it is anything else. So yeah, if you can replace the habit of grabbing that 20-ounce bottle of Mountain Dew, unscrewing the bottle, drinking it, but if you just replace that with water, no, you're probably not going to drink as much water as you do Mountain Dew because you're not getting that reward of the Mountain Dew, but you are still substituting that habit where if it's not in your, if you don't have something in your cup holder, you're going to be like, I should probably stop and get a Mountain Dew, because you're not going to stop and get a bottle of water when you're, faced with.
Well, that's exactly what was happening. It's like, let me just stop and get a bottle of water at the very least.
And would you, by the time you get in there, you're a totally different person.
Yeah. And then it's like, well, I didn't get a pizza, so that's a win. And it's like, there's so many traps. And it's like, again, just I knew gas stations. I think that was your journey at first too. I was like, that's my worst impulse by far. And I think it is for a lot of people, the convenience of them. And even though they overprice you, help your wallet too. Also just, better shape.
Yeah.
But yeah. Have a plan. Control those impulses.
That's a great way to do it. But also goal setting with like food logging, which is an important process for if body recomposition is a goal. If one of your goals is to like lose weight, you have to intentionally change the way that you're eating in some way. And so I think that a pitfall that a lot of times people do, especially with our program or any program, like, yeah, I can tell myself I'm going to go to the gym at 5 a.m., 3 to 6 times a week, whatever your goal is. And that's an easy goal to fix because that's all you have to do. Just show up, go to the gym at that time. But to say like, okay, I'm going to eat healthy. That's the terrible goal because that's so subjective. And so I think a lot of times when we tell our members, okay, we give them their macros based on their body composition, and we'll tell them, okay, you need to be eating 1,800 calories, whatever it is, but I'll use that as an example. 1,800 calories a day, 180 grams of protein. How many grams of?
Probably 130, 140.
180 grams of carbs, 140 grams of protein, and whatever it is for fat. If we do 40% of your calories from carbs, 30 for protein, 30 for fat, whatever. And you just start the day with a clean slate, logging your food, the odds that you're going to get to the end of the day and have reached your goal are very slim. So what you need to do is use your meal logging app or whatever you're using, like we use MyFitnessPal, you need to use that as a planner more than anything. Like you already need to know what you're going to eat.
Yeah, goals and without a plan is
right,
because you could just eat, and
I'm going to eat healthy.
I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to work out. Like that's eating. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to eat healthy.
Right.
Right. Because it's just kind of how it goes.
And if you don't have a plan when it comes to working out, and you're just going to saying, I'm going to go to the gym at 5 a.m., but you don't have a plan, and then you see someone you know, and you're going to stand at a treadmill for 20 minutes talking to them because maybe they don't have a plan either, then you're like, oh, it's been 20 minutes, you know, and then you go do some stretches, and then you're like, oh, I've been at the gym for 30 minutes. I'm good. You know, you definitely still have to have a plan.
Also helps with trepidation.
Yeah.
If you know it, just like I got a plan when I go in the gym, I'm going to hit, 5 lifts and I'm going to do 10 reps of this, that. And then you're just bouncing and think, that's the other part. People walk in there thinking, I'm just going to go lift. And they're like, oh, It's been a minute. I'm not sure how these work. And I really don't want to look stupid. So.
And it's really easy to then say like, oh, well, that the rack that I needed to do whatever on, oh, it's busy. So
I'll just skip it.
Yeah.
Today.
I'll just skip it. Well, sometimes you need to have a plan B. Sometimes you need to have a plan C.
So the great thing about what we do is we have the plan for you. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to think about the plan. Your goal could be, I'm going to make it to
exercise,
class.
Especially.
Yes. I'm going to make it to class 6 days a week. And you don't have to think, well, what am I going to do Monday? What am I going to do? No, we have that already done for you. Mm-hmm. You just come in and you follow directions and you work out. You don't have to think about what you're going to do on Thursday of that week because we already got you covered. That's one of the cool things about our program. Now, when it comes to nutrition, obviously, that's where you need to be planning out your meals.
Yeah, and nutrition, you really do need to have more individualized goals for your nutrition because we're all different. I did a video on our 10-week page on Wednesday, and I told people, the best thing you can do is to just start logging your food now because I can give a blanket suggestion, but if it doesn't apply to you, it's not going to be helpful. So for example, someone who has a pretty bad soda drinking habit, you might tell them to reduce, first week or so, reduce that down, log that soda, maybe only have it with your meal, cut it down, and then the next week, cut it down even more, cut it down. But if someone's coming in and they don't drink pop, I can't tell them just start drinking 1 can of Mountain Dew with your lunch instead of drinking 5 throughout the day. Like that would be terrible advice for someone who already doesn't drink pop. Like, no, we're not adding bad habits in, but we're reducing bad habits. So with food, with nutrition, especially, like you need to meet yourself where you are. And look at those improvements that way. Because sometimes people have really good nutrition habits. Like I am so envious of people who love every vegetable under the sun. I like vegetables, but only like certain ones. There's certain things like I wish that I liked tomatoes and cucumbers. Like I wish I could make a little summery tomato cucumber salad with some vinegar. Like that sounds like it's be something that I like, but I don't like tomatoes or cucumbers. So there's some people who could eat really healthy food, but they're not tracking their macros. So like, yeah, you can still be overweight eating really healthy food. If your goal is to lose weight, you need to cut back on all the foods that you're eating, but do it in a healthy way. And that's where meal planning is really important.
And eating with a purpose.
Yes.
Like I can't tell you how many times people will start and be like, well, I eat healthy. Well, okay.
Eating healthy could be having like
no protein at all
having
in your
oatmeal
body.
For breakfast, perfectly healthy. Oatmeal's great. Having a salad for lunch, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with eating a salad, and then going home and having whatever, just a normal sit down dinner of a protein and carb and a starch. You could have a baked potato and chicken and broccoli for dinner. And that could be someone's quote unquote healthy diet. But when we look at that, you're getting hardly any protein for breakfast. if you're just getting a conventional salad, you're probably getting 15 grams of protein with your lunch and then 25 max protein with your dinner, which is nowhere close to your protein goal that you need if you're trying to build muscle and lose body fat.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to add stuff to your healthy breakfast. Got to add protein to stuff. So yeah, it's subjective, but we have to get realistic. And that's the difference between of having a goal.
Yeah. So I think, for week 1, goal setting is I think a couple good goals for week 1 would be 1, show up to every class, and 2, log your food.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect on your macros. Log your food, see where you're at. Maybe some of you will be close. Maybe some of you will be way off. But week 1 is it's not about being perfect. It's about everything's very overwhelming when you're starting something new. So you just have to allow yourself to be a beginner. And like I said, the best goals are 1, make it to class, do every workout because you're going to feel good. By the end of the week, you're going to have 6 classes under your belt.
Builds progress.
Yep, builds progress.
For sure. And have a plan B, especially with the nutrition, because not with nutrition, with the workouts, with our members, most of our members are in-gym members, but we also offer a virtual platform for people. So I think sometimes people can get into week 3, 4 of the session and they've never done a virtual workout before. And so they miss a class, and doing virtual is just not something that they've really even thought about doing. But like having that flexibility to be like, okay, I know I can't work out, or I overslept, I missed my Wednesday workout. I have no time during the day to get this in the rest of the day. But carving out that time to do the virtual workout, even though it's not the same, but you're still building the habits, you're building the confidence, and you're building the skills that you'll need for that next workout. So this is us definitely specifically talking to our 10-weekers. Like, if you can't make it into the gym, make doing that virtual workout a priority. Even if you're not doing all of it, even if you're just doing, 30 minutes of it, or half the time you're trying to figure out what's going on, you're still carving out that time, and it's going to make it that much easier the next time. But if you're not doing ferals, that's where moving your body, just getting some type of movement in on that day. Like maybe it was supposed to be a lifting day, but the gym was just way too busy and you weren't able to get like over half your lifts in. Well, then just go for a walk, do something, carve out that time for yourself to help start building those habits. And that's why that having a movement goal is really important.
All right. Well, let's throw it to break, and we'll be back here in a few minutes. 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics. All right, welcome back into the Fitness Fanatics. We're talking about goals. Week 1 of the challenge, getting ready to start. Tomorrow will be day 1 where lives will be changed starting tomorrow.
Yep.
So we're talking a little about goal setting. So just a couple questions that we want everybody to ask themselves, even if you're not doing the challenge, if you're doing the challenge. And we're kind of a 10-week theme here. So the goal is to be in better shape physically and mentally by September 20th.
Yep.
When Nebraska plays Michigan. That's the goal. So we can be at our peak physical, where we could just be standing for 3 hours, not sitting down, standing for 3 hours.
If Michigan comes here, be like, man, even the fans, these guys are just yoked out here.
They are. They're
intimidation factor.
That's right. They're pumped. Chris is crazy. And they've been working out for 10 weeks.
Maybe
They're
that's
feeling
why
good.
not everybody cheers as hard as we do, because I do get mad when people aren't cheering and clapping.
Stand up.
Just stand up, sit down, clap your hands. It's easy for us.
Stand up, sit. I mean, I'm more of a follower. I like if people in front of me stand, I'll stand. But I'm not the type of guy that's standing, just trying to get people to.
No,
I think them.
I'll just follow the crowd. I grew up in a Catholic church. Kneel, stand, sit. I got down.
That's what it reminds me of. Stand, sit, stand, sit, stand, sit. But anyway, we're working our quads, right?
Regardless.
When we're doing that. So question number 1 is what do I really want to feel by week 10?
Yeah. And that's not something we usually, when you think about goal setting, it's like, I want to lose X amount of pounds, or I want to get into a certain size of clothing. But if you focus on Jeff is such a great example for everything that we talk about. That's why we say average Jeff, right?
Great example.
I know. Like, you're definitely very average. I'd say that not in a mean way, but like, and I am too. But you, for example, if you're feeling good, it's going to definitely change how you. We've talked about this, how when you do Whole30 and you kind of get on your high horse about things sometimes too, like, oh, I'm not drinking any soda or caffeine.
Gosh, I wish I could just do that my whole life. I could.
Yeah.
I just do feel
it's
so
hard.
much better.
Yeah. But like, for example, for you, like the last couple weeks, you really did kind of have dialed in on your nutrition, and you historically in Lincoln wear a sweatshirt all the time. And I always call it your like emotional support sweatshirt. And you've not been wearing it as much the last 2 weeks because you've been feeling better about yourself. And it's really not because the way I see you all the time and the way you look in a t-shirt now versus the way you looked in a t-shirt 2 weeks ago is not that much different. Like, you have lost a little bit of weight, and I know that, but like, no one else would notice, like, in the way that you think that they would.
No, that's because it's all hidden under a sweatshirt.
Yeah, but you've been wearing your t-shirt and you look the same.
I did
very similar in a t-shirt now than you did 2 weeks ago. But the difference is I see you every day, all the time. So I know you don't look that different. I didn't think that you didn't look as bad as you thought that you did when you thought you looked bad. Like, you look like Jeff all the time to me. But so the point is, because you've been eating healthier and you feel better, it's just, you're not putting a t-shirt on and thinking, oh, I shouldn't wear this because I ate a cheeseburger yesterday. You're like, I can wear this because I ate, whatever, because I portioned my Doritos out yesterday. So that's where focusing on how you want to feel, because how you feel, I've taken pictures, and I've said this before too. I've taken thousands of before pictures, and I can see all different types of the way that people feel and talk about the way that they look. And so I've taken pictures of people that are 110 pounds and they feel super self-conscious and don't like the way that they look. That has nothing to do with how they actually look. That has to do with how they feel in their mind, and how their habits have informed the way that they feel. Does that make sense? So you can feel great and still not necessarily see the number on the scale that you think that you want. You can feel strong and healthy and not be able to fit into the pair of jeans that you wanted to fit into after the 10 weeks. So I think that really thinking about how you want to feel versus how you want to look is going to help that mindset shift that can keep you going beyond the 10 weeks.
Yep. Just having more energy.
Yes. What are the things that you feel better about in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks for you, beyond just feeling like you don't have to wear a sweatshirt all the time?
What do I feel better about?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I feel when I get up in the morning and I don't feel like
sluggish.
Yes. Like I don't feel full still, right? Because you just have a big dessert or something, or you have a big meal, or you just ate bad all day. Then you wake up and you're like, ugh. Yeah, that's a feeling I like, is not having that.
Yep.
So
you want to feel energized, have more energy. You want to feel strong in your workouts. There's such a difference, and we talk about this with our 10-weekers, like the difference between like weeks 1 and 2 versus maybe weeks 5 and 6. The workouts should always be hard. Like, they should always be difficult. The difference is the first 2 weeks of starting anything new, you may be feeling like you're being dragged through the workout. Like, oh, you're just being dragged through the mud to get to the end of the workout, to get to that finish line. But by week 5 and 6, you get that shift because you've been consistent, where you are pushing yourself through the workout. And there's definitely a difference.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't happen overnight. And it's all about being consistent with your workout goals, being consistent with your nutrition goals that can help you get past that being drugged through feeling versus the pushing yourself feeling.
Yep.
Which is a good goal to have.
And to like this first week where sometimes we're grateful when the class is over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can't believe I did that. Versus weeks 5 and 6 when you're sad that it's over.
Yeah. Like, oh, I could have kept going.
That's a mindset shift also,
Mm-hmm.
where you're just like, oh, I'm so glad this is done.
Yeah.
Second question is, what do you want to prove to yourself?
Mm-hmm.
I think it is 10 weeks is a long time.
It is.
It doesn't seem like a long time, but it's a long time.
It goes fast.
Yes.
But when you're looking at the 10 weeks, just think of about like a mountain. You're at the bottom of the mountain, you're looking up. It's so far to week 10,
mm-hmm.
but it's gonna go fast. Just like what AD says. What does he say? The days go fast, but the days go slow, but the years go fast.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That's how it is with the 10 weeks too. Like the days go slow, but the weeks go so fast. Like it's gonna be week 3 before you know it. For sure.
Yep. So
what are you trying to prove to yourself?
I mean, finishing.
Huge accomplishment.
It's a huge accomplishment, not only physically, but mentally as well. Like when you quit something, it just kind of damages you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It can.
I always think, gosh, if somebody can't finish Farrell's that has the support and the atmosphere, like, it's going to be in the struggle bus.
Right.
To maybe they'll find something else that gets them going, but
and just, proving to yourself too, but also talking about like having those strong reasons too. Like for me, as when our kids were younger, I felt really proud of myself when I would maybe train for a half marathon or something, and then the kids would be there at the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're not even only proving it to yourself, but you're proving to other people. And sometimes you're proving it to someone because they didn't think you could do it and you want to prove them wrong. But the other thing is just being a good example too. Like that's really, to me, some of the habits. I was just thinking the other day, because in 2022 was that when we all did the Lincoln Half Marathon?
2021.
Oh, it was the next year. So I wanted, for my 40th birthday in 2020, I wanted the kids to do a half marathon with me, but then it ended up being the COVID year. I wanted them to do the Lincoln Half, which is in the fall, but they ended up they switched it to virtual that year. And so the next year they did the Lincoln Half Marathon. We all did. And Ben and I stayed together. You kind of ran ahead. I think you finished before us. And then Katie didn't really train as much, but she's very stubborn and she still went out there and finished the race. And I was thinking this week about Ben is signed up for the 5K next week, and he hasn't ran a step since last year. Did he even do it? Since last year. I know, that was a dumb question. And I was thinking, man, I wonder how he feels about that. And then I was thinking how proud I am of him that he's completed a half marathon. So he's probably in the Jeff mindset of like, I've done a half marathon. A 5K is nothing. I'll be fine,
Yeah.
And I hope that that's what he's thinking. And I'm really proud that that's something that he did and has accomplished already. I didn't do my first half marathon until I was in almost 30, probably late 20s, almost 30. And now he'll always be able to say that he did that. And I think that will help.
When he was 14.
Right. And that will help him have confidence that he can do it again, or he can do other things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also something that you're proving to yourself. If I can finish this, what else can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a great stepping stone of goals.
Yep. And the third one, this one's interesting. What motivates me when no one's watching?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of gets into our week 3 of integrity.
It does. That's a good segue.
Which will be there in a couple weeks. But and this is one where we have a quote on our walls at the gyms. That's an Aaron Davis quote. I don't know if he invented it, but that's where we heard it from first.
I think it's a
yes.
Your why is basically what it is, but he made it his own little saying.
Strong reasons weaken excuses. So having strong reasons is what's going to keep you motivated when nobody's watching. Like you're just not going to be motivated to eat a salad versus going to wherever.
Yeah.
But
choosing the quick option.
Choosing the quick and the unhealthy option.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about what our reasons are on this show. And, our reasons have switched from, well, 1, to be healthy, 2, to be here for our kids, and now 3, to be here for our grandkids.
Mhm.
You know, I do turn 47 on Tuesday is my birthday. Now I'm going to be in my late 40s.
Mhm.
And I think about my dad died at 69. And I think, man, that's 22 years from now.
Which sounds like a long time away, but
it doesn't.
I know. Yeah.
It sounds like it's not very long. And then I start to thinking, well, gosh, if I don't have a grandkid for 4 or 5 years, then I'm only 69. Like I'm only going to be around for 16 years of this. Like I don't want that. Like
right.
that kind of gets me thinking long term past. Like I want to be around to see my grandkid have a kid, a child. You know, I like
graduate, get married.
Yes, that's
like
kind of. I want to see my grandkids graduate high school, and I think about my dad passing away at 69, and he didn't see his. You know, he's not seen Ben go to Nebraska, which would have been the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
he didn't get to see us move to Nebraska,
right?
Which he would have loved that. You know, so there's just things that he's missed, and not saying he didn't take care of himself, or you know, that's sometimes. You know, that's just when it's your time to go. It's your time to go. But again, we're not going to use that as an excuse to just eat whatever we want and not take care of ourselves. But like, well, we're all going to die anyway. So what's the big deal? I just might as well live my life and whatever happens, happens. So, you know, those need to be, you need to find your reasons that's going to keep you going when it gets tough, because it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Nobody's going through the 10-week challenge. It's just easy peasy breezy.
Well, they wouldn't have signed up for it probably if their life is easy peasy breezy, because
well,
you know, that's why I think that's why people do things for sets amounts of time, because you think, okay, I can do this. But I think with goal setting, it's important to know when to zoom out and when to zoom in, you know, because you can zoom out and be like, 10 weeks, that's so far away. Like, oh, I don't need to work on getting better at my nutrition yet because I have 10 weeks. That's where like zooming out can be like, oh, I'll stop drinking soda week 3. And then week 3 comes and you're like, it's only week 3. What if I wait till week 6?
Right.
You know, and so that can be when you look at it from that way, you zoom out and you're like, okay, I have 10 weeks to reach all my goals. And we will tell you, yeah, we don't expect you to be perfect. And we want you to, you know, make progress at your own pace. But at the same time, you lean on that as an excuse. Also, you can't tell yourself, well, I'll do it next week. I have 10 weeks. It's like the tortoise and the hare. Right. And so it's like, I have 10 weeks to do this. I have 10 weeks to stop drinking pop. I have 10 weeks to focus on eating less fried foods and, you know, swapping out those bad habits. But it'll be week 8 before you know it. And then you're going to be like, I just didn't really see the changes that I expected at this point. What's the point of finishing? And then just kind of like fizzle out.
Yep.
That's where zooming out can be a bad thing. And it's, you got to zoom in and be like, take it one workout at a time, one meal at a time. And if you fail, you just get right back on track and you keep going. Because you know, a lot of times our 10-week challengers that win the $1,000 had perfect attendance, but they don't always. It's not a requirement. You can definitely have stumbles and get right back on and have really great changes and establish really good habits. But then sometimes you also have to, you have to know when to zoom in and when to zoom out when it comes to those goals. That's why it's important to have like short-term goals and long-term goals. And then to kind of circle that back around, that's where intrinsic and extrinsic motivation kind of fits in, because extrinsic motivation is going to get you those like quick motivation. Like you need that external motivator to get out of bed. But then you need the internal motivation to stick with it when you're tired of eating a certain food, or you're tired of prepping food, or you're just like, it's leg day tomorrow. I hate leg day. It's the worst day. Like we all have days that we don't like.
You think that at our gym.
At every gym. It's a cliche for a reason, right? Like that's it, because it's hard. And sometimes it's just hard to do hard things. So
I know with doing like your legs are so powerful.
I love leg day. Yes.
You can go in and you're heavy. You can use heavy bands.
Yeah, but
you just feel strong and powerful. When you get to your arms, you're just like, gosh, I'm just weak and just.
But not everybody feels that way. I think about Mark Onweiler and how he struggled mentally with strength training, because for him, struggling through a difficult workout wasn't empowering to him. And that it is to me. Like, I feel really empowered when I work really hard in a workout and I feel just trashed afterwards.
Yeah.
He felt that made him feel bad about himself. Like, I should be stronger than this. I shouldn't be feeling weak. But that's part of getting stronger, is feeling weak. You have to feel weak to get stronger. And it took him a really long time. I don't even know if he ever really fully has I'll have to ask him, but I don't know if he's ever really fully kind of bought into the you are getting stronger through weakness,
Maybe it's his motivation though. Like, maybe he knows it.
I think so. I mean, he still did it. Obviously, he won $10,000.
Yeah. Some people make fake gymnastics to make that. I can see Mark pulling Jordan just understanding
reverse psychologying himself,
upset at himself. Yeah, demanding more, even though
that could be
he went all out.
But that is important to know that it's supposed to be hard. You're supposed to be proud of yourself for struggling. There's not very many places in our lives that we are proud when we fail.
No.
But the gym is somewhere where when you show up and you physically do so much that you can't do one more rep, that is success.
It is.
Failing is success.
Because it's getting you stronger and it's getting you better.
Yeah.
All right.
Which so mentally messes with your head.
Let's call it a break. We'll be right back to wrap things up on this episode of Goal Setting on 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics. All right. We are in the final segment. Just a reminder, we haven't even talked about this. Next Sunday is the Husker Road Race. Huskers.com/road race. If you want to join our team, $35 for the 3-mile run or walk, and 1 mile fun run, $25 for the kids. I think I guess I didn't look to see how many people are signed up so far, but last week there was over 200 people signed up, which is pretty cool. So that is next Sunday. We'll be down there, but we have already recorded episode number 2 of our 10-week theme. And make sure you tune in, because there's some pretty funny stuff on there. So we were in the podcasting room and it's pretty fun. So make sure you
I don't know.
No, it was great. It was wonderful.
It was not my best day.
It was a little different for us in there, but just the two of us interacting.
Almost like you guys are married. What was that?
I know.
Just the two of us interacting. It's kind of weird.
The two of us.
I know. You get to see that a little bit. There's some behind the scenes stuff in it. I make a mistake if you want to see that. I've hurt Jeff's feelings if that gets you to listen.
Yeah,
whatever might be the best piece to sell.
Whatever
right
gets you to tune in.
Yeah.
So that'll be next week. But let's just wrap up our goal segment. So kind of, motivation. We were talking motivation and goals. Motivation isn't one size fits all. You want to use extrinsic motivation to get started, but build intrinsic motivation.
I don't know why intrinsic is so hard for you
to finish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're kind of talking about how you evolve over time.
Yes.
Like, you start the 10-week challenge. That's your external motivation, because you have the $1,000. You got, finishing the challenge in of itself. But then once the challenge is over, it's a little bit more hands off.
Or once it gets hard, you need that internal motivation to keep going, for sure. And do some goal setting tools, like write down your goals and figure out which ones, write down short-term and long-term goals, and then break them down a little bit. And then each week check into those long-term goals. Am I making progress towards my long-term goal? And if you feel like you're not, then you got to readjust those short-term goals. Like, you want to commit to 6 days a week of exercise and you're 2 weeks in and you can't get 6 days in, then you adjust that goal and you maybe make it 4 days a week. And that's going to help you hit those long-term goals by being flexible with your short-term goals, for sure.
Yep. And then last, the most powerful goals are the ones rooted in who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve.
Yeah, that's important.
So we're looking for long-term change with our program. I mean, I'm grateful when somebody signs up to do the 10-week challenge, but then I'm sad if they don't continue.
Yeah.
So not more sad because, be like, oh, well, they're not paying you. No, I like miss people.
Yeah. We spend, weeks kind of forming a friendship or a relationship with people. And then sometimes it's like, well, maybe I'll see you again,
I know. It's just like,
at that point, you collected the check too. So it's like, I truly just want them to do it for their own good.
Yes, that is true.
Right. Because they're not paying every week.
Right.
Go for the 10-week challenge. It's like, once money's in there, it's like, that goes back to intrinsically like, hey, that's their money. Let's go get our money.
That's another big one because not everybody, that money doesn't mean as much to everybody.
Yeah, money's not a motivator.
Not for everybody. For some people it is, for sure. But
maybe for a poor lad like me, I'd be a little more determined.
Just some people are a little more miserly with their money, I guess. But
more what?
Miserly, like misers, like a miser.
Never heard
word
that
of
term.
the day right there. I'm gonna have to Google that.
As I said it, I was like, man, I hope that's not like offensive now. I don't know.
Well, I have no idea what it means.
Anyway, like a miser back in the old day, like someone who's cheap, but not to say you're cheap.
I've never heard that term.
Well, sorry. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, I think that part about who you want to become is really important. Like you're doing something because you're wanting to become a person who works out every day. I'm working out every day because I want to become a person that's working out every day. Maybe you're not bought into it yet, but you will eventually because you're working towards becoming that person. Is it bad? Is it a bad word now?
No, you're right, though.
I knew I was right.
Miserly people are stingy with their money and not likely to be generous.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Not to be generous.
I was afraid it was like
they're not going to donate to anybody.
I didn't mean that. You know what I mean. But
you just brought that word out of retirement. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, no
kidding.
I
just had to fact check, but no, that's a real word. All right.
No, like Donald, like in okay.
Says the Scrooge.
Yes, the Scrooge. Like Scrooge McDuck is a good example. If you've ever watched DuckTales, he was miserly. Scrooge in the Christmas Carol, miserly. So it's probably not the greatest example, but it still fit.
It's still something.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail the whole.
No, that's okay. Thing. We're about done anyway.
Word of the day: miserly.
Yep. All right, guys and gals, we appreciate you listening. Hopefully, you learned something today. Next week's going to be all about discipline. While we're out rubbing elbows with the football team. So, coming in a couple weeks, I'll have my full recap of the road race, size up the team, what I think, what they look like, if they're going to be good.
Okay. Spoiler alert. You think they will.
Spoiler alert. I'm an insider next Sunday. Take care. Have a good week. 93.7 The Ticket, the Fitness Fanatics.